When my son was 4 years old, 5 years old, I couldn't afford the nurseries. We had local childminders, but they started at 8:30. My job started at 9. It was a 20-minute sprint, and I mean sprint. Drop my son off and sprint to work. I'd arrive dripping in sweat. I mean, absolutely caked it. And I told no one at the office why I'd sprinted in. I shared with no one that bringing up my son and my 2 brothers were living with me as well. But the day it all changed and that guilt disappeared was one day I got home and my son was talking to my brothers, and he was 4 or 5, telling them how proud he was of me. Whoa, that's it. The person you got to listen to is your son. Your children. There's no other constituency. There's no other audience. There's no electorate. There's no gallery. It's them. And every now and again, an endorsement from them, a throwaway line, would fuel me for the next 12 months. No guilt. Because they know you're doing the best you can do day in, day out. That's it. However, all the measures that society gives us that tells us who we should be, what we should, forget that. There's only one judge in this, and they're your kids.
Imagine carrying the weight of expectations, silent struggles, and the pressure to always have it together. The Dad Project is a space for open, honest conversations about men's mental health. Raw, real, and long overdue. In Season 2, we go deeper, sharing powerful stories and fresh perspectives from those who've lived it and those who help others through it. Filmed at the Old Court in Windsor, this season is about breaking stigmas, redefining strength, and starting conversations that matter. I'm your host, Naroop Juti. Let's talk. So René, people know that I love to speak. I love doing this podcast. But my true passion is actually public speaking. I love talking on stage. And I remember when I first met you and I saw you talking on stage, and I saw a man with presence, confidence, controlling the audience, but authentic. And that really hit me, because I thought I would love to be able to do that one day, to be able to share stories, talk to people, have influence, and leave people feeling better. And one thing you said to me was, it's not always about what you say, it's how you make them feel. And that sat with me forever. So having you here, sat opposite me on this podcast, is a real honor.
That's very kind of you.
I think I would struggle to do you justice by trying to introduce who you are and what you do. So I'd love for you to tell the audience about yourself, what you do, and what makes you such an inspirational figure.
I'm not sure I'm any of those things, to be honest, but I never forget how privileged me and my team are. We have the tremendous privilege and honour of working with FTSE 100 chief executives here from the UK, Fortune 500 chief executives from the States and everywhere else, heads of state from around the world, where I'm euphemistically called the executive coach, but I couldn't be further from a coach than you could imagine. In America, they call me the CEO counselor. We look after those people who are honoured to have the toughest job in the world, the best job in the world, the loneliest job in the world. It's getting tougher and tougher and tougher. At any given time, I'm able to look after 5 chief executives. Just don't have the bandwidth or the stress capability to do more. It's the most demanding job in the world. Then on assignments, they're relationships and they last for life. Some people I haven't seen in 20 years will call me with an issue that needs dealing with now. When I walk into that corner office, I've got 15 minutes. A coaching session is never more than 15 minutes. They haven't got 15 minutes. It's got to be sorted now. We do that around the world, 7 days a week, 24/7. That also leads to the second thing we do. So we get insights, experiences, world's eye view that I'm not sure anyone else gets. Lots of people say they work with chief executives. No, we work with them in a way that no one else does. So we get the insights, the stories, the upside, the downside, the tears, the emotion, the sackings, the appointments, the disappointments. They're human beings, special human beings. So I spend a lot of my time standing on a stage, talking to an audience, sharing with them some of the insights, experience we gain in our special privileged world. I sometimes think I live at Terminal 5 Heathrow, but it's a privilege, Naroop. And I've been winding down for the last 10 years. It doesn't quite work. I keep saying I must be in my twilight years, but it doesn't quite work. So, honoured, privileged, lucky, talk with some of the best people on the planet in their best moments and their low moments.
So when your family moved from Gambia to here at a young age, did you ever think you would be doing this? Because I know you had a childhood full of responsibility, and that's definitely influenced who you are as a man now. And in your book, Spike, which is a fantastic book, you go into that. But I'd love to hear from yourself, those early years for you, how you managed the transition from moving from Gambia to here, and how it defined you as a man now.
So I live in the greatest city on the planet. This is the capital city of the universe, London. 45% of us in London are non-white. There's no other city, major city on the planet could say that, capital city. And we rub along beautifully. And I'm your archetypal immigrant's dream. My parents, like so many parents of colonial Britain, we had primary education, we had secondary education, we had no tertiary, no colleges, no universities. The dream of my parents from Gambia colony was to get their kids to university. That meant, like it did for so many of our parents, selling up everything, coming over to London and trying to get them into university. But even though they sold up everything, when they came here, they thought they could buy prime property, prime place, prime school. London was the most expensive city on the planet in the 60s. Access to not the best housing meant access to not the best schooling. And for many people, many immigrants, that's where the dream faltered. I was lucky enough to get to university. And that was the beginning of a chapter that my parents were probably ready to go back home then. They eventually did, leaving us behind.
Who's us?
Me and my siblings, my brothers and sisters. And what was amazing, and we'll go on to talk about this, they left because I'd gone to university. I could look after my brothers and sisters. And in those extended family networks, we were given responsibility way before we had the capability. And I get this question all the time. Leaders, René, are they born or are they made? I know they're not born. That's a fallacy that holds Africa back, Asia back. We still feel as though that leader is, that big chief male leader is born. It's nonsense, and it holds us back. It's an issue.
But is that across all cultures or?
All cultures. No leaders are born. Many are made. But when I'm coaching my leaders, I coach them the leaders are found. They're there available for you in every team, in every organisation. There are leaders there. Go find them. Forget the job title. Forget the experience. Forget the hierarchy. Leaders come in every shape or size.
What do you look for?
Do you know there are so many different attributes to look for, but in the main, ambition, aspiration, self-betterment, courage, determination to serve others, fearless, grit. I could go on.
But those qualities that you've mentioned now, they're strong attributes to have, right? And what I find, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this, is when we say to a man, because obviously we're talking about men on this podcast,
Yes.
these are the qualities of a good leader. That's a lot of pressure as well.
When you ask a question of someone, when you're trying to help someone to be a leader, talk about their strengths.
Yep.
There's no tick list. You're talking about them. One size fits no one. You want them to be the best leader they can be, talk to them about their existing strengths. They're the attributes they need to be a leader. There is no stress then. You're building upon something they've already got. So to your point, the toughest thing in the world is give people unattainable objectives. You ruin them, not coach them. The way we help is everyone is brilliant at something, no one is brilliant at everything. And what Spike was based on was through my schooling, my work life, I was always told, many years ago they were weaknesses. Today we call them areas for improvement. We call them limitations. Focus on your limitations. By the time you get to 21, here's new news for you. You ain't going to change those limitations. Career acceleration comes from a 5% improvement on something you're brilliant at, not a 5% improvement on something you're rubbish at. No one notices that. So. If you've got a light, make it sparkle. Really make it sparkle.
How do men find that light? Because there's so much that we're fed from seeing other people's lives, what we hear on news, media.
It's very simple. Forget all of those. Forget all the psychometric testing. Forget all the coaches, mentors. Forget all of those. Go to your loved ones. Whoever they are, go to your loved ones. Be it your football colleagues, be it your mother, be it your aunt, be it your gran, be it the news agent. Go to those people who've got unconditional love for you and ask them one simple question. What do you think I'm brilliant at? They're not going to give you management speak. They can say, you've got eyes in the back of your head. You're always there for me. You've always had my back. Listen to them. Listen to them. Those people, it's not those people you work with. It's those who have unconditional love for you, who want you to succeed. They're used to catching you doing things right. In the workplace, we catch people doing things wrong. And you need people who want you to be the best version of yourself that you can be.
Yeah.
The more people that love you, the more you ask them, the more variety you get about. Find the 2 or 3 things and focus on them. Watch what it does for your confidence. Watch what it does for yourself, for the way you treat yourself, how you see yourself. If I wake up every day knowing there's 2 or 3 things I'm fantastic at, here's the virtuous circle we see. Things I tend to be really good at are things I tend to really enjoy.
Yep.
Things I tend to really enjoy, I tend to be really good at. What if you woke up every day only doing the things that you enjoyed?
Do you think that's a fantasy though?
No. I do it every day.
But you've worked hard to get there.
No, the trick is to surround yourself with people who are good at the other things. And everywhere I go, I look for those people who do the things I can't. And I stay close to them. Therefore, I'm never exposing myself to the things that I'm going to be rubbish at. It's a philosophy, not a strategy. Right? It's a mindset. Yeah. It's a way of life. Once I find someone who's really good at something I'm not, I tend to see how can I help them so they can help me.
I love that idea of asking your loved ones about what you're good at, because as I've been developing this organization and growing, and you've said this to me yourself, people have said to me, Nirup, I always knew you were going to do this. I always saw it in you. Even though I didn't used to believe it, because I used to look for people outside of my loved circle for validation, approval, acceptance. As I've grown and built this, they've said, yeah, I knew you were going to do this. You were always meant to be on stage. You were always meant to be the founder on screen, inspiring. And I never fully accepted it.
If you don't mind me saying,
Yes.
I've seen a tension in you and I've seen it change. The tension is a fair one. For many of us, the way we've been brought up, especially sons and daughters of immigrants, to serve, to help others, to ensure that everyone around us is the best they can be. And that's the way we've been brought up. And there's something very positive about that.
Yeah.
But there are some issues. When do you find time to nourish yourself? When do you look at your own well-being? When you're forever doing a really good thing, service to others. And I've seen you give service to others all the time. And when do you serve yourself? When sometimes we've been brought up, that's selfish, that's self-centered. It's not about you. And that's very powerful and very positive. But I think there's a time when it's not damaging to take some time out for yourself. And the bit I'm seeing in you and I'm enjoying in you is you're starting to understand who you are, what you bring, and not afraid to say it.
Yeah.
And that's important for everyone.
Yeah.
Be true to yourself.
Yeah.
And and on occasion, that makes us a little vulnerable. I am going to take a moment to talk about the things I would like to do, my achievements, where I'd like to be. And in many of our societies, that's frowned upon.
Why is it frowned, do you think?
Many of us come from a colonial background. And that colonial background said that we were never good enough. Our job was to serve. And it's taken many, many years of travel for me to go around and see. I've just come back from St Kitts and Nevis. Before every session I was running, there'd be 10 minutes of prayer. There's something healthy about that, but not all the room with Christian. There was no accommodation for that. And no one felt it was their place to sort of say, and I had to say I felt uncomfortable, so I told them, we're in a place of work here. I'm coming here to speak to everyone. I'm being inclusive. Faith is important, but is it your faith, my faith, or our faith? But in time, many of us were given our religions.
Yeah.
We were given our job titles, given our place, It's taken a long time to change that.
Yeah.
But it's changing, and it's changing quickly. I said to you that London's a special city. I've learned in my travels that I get uncomfortable in monocultures. When I go to a city that's predominantly one culture, where I was born, Gambia. When I go to Rome, when I go to Madrid, when I go to Amsterdam, I can't wait to come back to London. Because I've realised I'm cosmopolitan, metropolitan, and I love the fact I've come from an inclusive background where it's a hodgepodge. In one road, I'll hear a Portuguese accent, I'll hear a Hindu accent, I'll hear a Bengali accent, and it makes me feel at home and at one. Now that's powerful, but not everywhere is like that. I'm hoping that in time, we'll all be so much more tolerant of those from different backgrounds.
What was life like when you came from Gambia? Because reading Spike and hearing about your journey and what you achieved, you were the youngest board member at Pepsi, right? And black board member at Pepsi. How did you navigate raising your siblings, staying mentally strong enough to not fold under that pressure? Because I think men of your generation, when you were growing up, you just got on with it. But I'm sure there must have been struggles. And these are conversations I've never actually had with you.
We don't talk about this enough.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about the things that matter on the journeys we're on. How we got there. So, 3 things for you. The first bit is, Harvard did some research 3 years ago that was groundbreaking. For my coaching, it was groundbreaking. They came up with 2 stats that are really obvious, but game-changing. Number 1, mentees get a 16% career acceleration from a mentoring relationship. We all get that. Mentors get a 53% career acceleration from a mentoring relationship. That's transformational. So whenever I've been coaching, what we've always had as a standard is get yourself a mentor. Find someone you admire, find someone you look up to, find someone who behaves in a way, thinks in a way, does things that you'd love to replicate. Aim as high as you can. See if they'll spend an hour with you a month. That's it. Done. Go. Now, go find yourself a mentee. Go find yourself a mentee that's not from the same background as you. Go find yourself a mentee that's going to grow you as a leader. We looked at it closely and here's what we saw. The person's usually younger in the formative days of their careers. They're coming to you because you can bring something that helps them accelerate. First, you've got to create an environment where they feel they can speak up and they can be authentic and they can challenge you and they can find their voice. Psychological safety. That grows you as a leader. Second, you've got to listen with an intent you've never done before. You're not going to judge. You're not going to force them to fit in. This changes you as a leader for the rest of your journey as a leader. You're going to accept them for who they are. This changes you dramatically as a leader. So that's the first thing. And in my journey, that's really mattered. I didn't realise that I was mentoring lots and lots of people and they were coaching me. And that's incredibly special. Second thing, on my way up, it was really lonely. It was really, really lonely. And more disappointments and appointments, more rejections but they build you. I found 3 black friends, men of my age, also on their career path.
At work, at Pepsi?
No, I found them in life. And we decided we're going to do something that hadn't been done before. We're just going to set out to support each other and catch each other doing things right. So whenever anyone got a promotion, anyone got an advancement, anyone got some recognition, anyone achieved something, the other 3 would send them a handwritten card and a bunch of flowers.
Wow.
We did that for 22 years.
So you had your own little group, I guess, little meetup group. Yeah.
We didn't call it anything like that. We'd meet once a month for dinner. I was on the board of wherever, and I had my own dining room back in the day.
Yeah.
So the last Friday of every month, we'd meet. Out of all the catering services, the 4 of us, you can imagine, all black, and we'd put the world to rights and support each other. But when that handwritten card arrived, by post, when the door knocked and the flowers were delivered, guess how that made me feel?
Yeah.
We never missed out on it on each other. Third thing, on the way up, I used to play a lot of football. The time I was playing, black players couldn't get into the best teams. So we formed our own clubs. And I played in a black team, and we were the best team. And we won everything. Everything that you could win. But there were about 18 of us. When I was the only one with a kid when we played. So I found my one release was football. But my son had 17 uncles. Because some games I couldn't play. I had to be with him. I was centre forward, so when I wasn't playing, it missed a little. I was the only one who lived alone with my son. So after matches, we'd come and watch football at my place. The big fights, the big Saturday night stuff, they'd come to my house and we'd sit down because I was the one who... But what I didn't realise, my son had 17 uncles who looked out for him, who helped me with parenting, who helped me. And even today, he's still got them. They still look out for him.
Wow.
They're there for him. So, to me, the bit I've learnt is good parents create good children. It takes good communities to produce good parents.
Yeah.
And my football club was my community. My 4 friends were my community. It's only in retrospect you realise that nothing is best done alone.
Of course.
And there were times when I'd be so frustrated with my son that one of his uncles would
step in.
pop in, take him away for a day, take him out the heat, take him to go watch a film. Someone else would say they were all there for me. And that is so powerful.
In these conversations with your four mates, you're sitting in nice restaurants. What were you talking about? Because it couldn't all have been celebration. There must have been some racism. There must have been discrimination. Was that even talked about, or is it only?
It was never celebration.
Okay.
It was all heartache.
What kind of heartache?
The way you were treated.
How were you
the opportunities that were lost. The doors that were slammed in your face. The opportunities that you knew you were the most capable of doing and it didn't come your way. We needed an outlet. If you didn't let that out, you'd end up giving up. Just the ability to talk about it openly. And, we talk about mental health today, we talk about wellness to wealth. Finding a safe space where people will give you a damn good listening to and not judge you. Empathize, understand, not solve, not cure, but be there for you. I knew that I could have the worst moment ever at work, or my worst moments weren't actually at work. It was being a single father.
Okay.
Right, the most demeaning was when I'd turn up for the parents' evening. It's Black Dad. Or I'd go to Gingerbread Club with my daughter. In fact, you can imagine, and you will have experienced this. With my son, it never really occurred. When his mates were coming for an evening, or when he got older, a weekend, it was sort of fine. I wasn't prepared for when my daughter's friends were coming. By the time my son went to school, he went to the best state school. By the time my daughter came, I was in a different place. She went to the best private school in Hampstead. And when her friends were coming over, I didn't think anything of it, that I would be driving around picking them up, or their parents would be dropping them over. When I opened the door, they'd never ever thought, it never crossed their mind that my daughter's dad was black. It didn't. She was the best friend of their daughter. When I'd go around to knock the door and say, they'd say yes. I'd be saying to my daughter, we've come to pick up Emma. I beg your pardon.
Wow.
And call husband, who'd come to the door. And it's only when Emma would come running down and hug Ray so that they'd sort of... I remember how that made me feel.
I was going to ask you, how did it make you feel?
Just, you don't exist.
Yep.
You're not part of the equation. Those were the things we talked about.
What advice did they offer? Because I think that's still a problem today. I still feel that sometimes. So.
It wasn't advice. It wasn't advice. It was comfort, understanding, resonance, empathy. We didn't feel we were equipped to change the world there. We were surviving the world back then. Ensuring that didn't stand in our way. We never had the wherewithal, the courage, the access to go and challenge that. We had to survive it. I wanted to punch him, but where would that have got me?
Yeah.
I remember going to the Gingerbread Club, and my daughter went to the Royal School in Hampstead. It was as good as you could get in the UK. And Saturday mornings, they used to have a gingerbread club for the mums. So they sent me the stuff at home, so I thought, I'll go along. I went along, and they were meeting in some posh cafe. And when I got there, everyone moved their handbags.
Wow.
Can you imagine? And they said, yes, can we help you? I said, I dropped your line to say I was coming for the gingerbread club. Sorry? I dropped your line to say I was coming. René Carayol. Oh, we stood there it was no more than 10 seconds. But in that 10 seconds, I'm not sure I was the most uncomfortable. But it's those, and I can give you 100 of those stories.
They're still vivid for you, though, aren't they?
Yesterday. And I ended up running and organising it. 6 months later, I was the one doing all the bits and pieces and all the arranging and all the bits. But I do think the world has changed for the better since those days, and maybe because of those days.
It's hard to... you're right, sometimes we don't need advice, we just need to be heard. And you had your own meetup group that's formed organically.
Yes.
Why do you think so many men don't do that now? Why do you think they don't have that? Is it because we are such a multicultural society now? You don't need to be, have 4 Indian friends or 4 Chinese friends. It's a mix.
Something I've seen around the world, which it's so consistent, it troubles me, but I got a feeling it's probably correct. Whether I'm in South Africa, whether I'm in New York State, whether I'm in Edinburgh, whether I'm in Moscow, we bring our boys up to be courageous. We bring up our girls to be perfect. Everywhere I go. And that courage can be self-defeating. I just need to get through this. I can do this. I'll be fine. No, you won't be fine. No, you can't do this. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Whereas I see with our girls, we want them to be perfect. And whenever I get the opportunity to coach female chief executives, we still see here are the 5 things for the job. The instant we'll get from most women is, I can do those 2 to perfection, the other 3 I've had no exposure to whatsoever. We bring our girls up to be perfect. They're so brutally honest. The guys, we bring them up to be courageous. I can do all those 5. I've done 2 extensively and 3 I've had exposure to, which means I've read about them somewhere.
Yeah.
And I see that difference manifest itself all the time. And I see my daughter will seek her friends out and have conversations. My son, I need to approach him carefully to start the dialogue.
What should a man say if he sees those 5 things? Should he say, I can do those 2 and I can't do those 3? Like, what's the honest, best way to approach it?
Well, I think with confidence. No matter who you are, with confidence. And the bit I always think that's the most telling is, I've got extensive experience of those 2, and I'll be able to pick those up really quickly in a supportive environment.
Okay, that's really interesting because
then are they going to say to you, this is not a supportive environment?
Yeah.
Back yourself to acquire new skills quickly.
That's interesting. It's something that I try to actually adopt because I've got a wonderful team here who are all amazing at different things and stuff that I'm not good at. And I really feel comfortable bringing them in and saying, okay, I'm not quite good at that. You handle that. And I never used to be able to do that before because I just wanted, I can do that. I can learn that. But I realized, like you said, nothing great is ever achieved alone.
The new form of leadership we see is coaching.
Yeah.
And coaching is giving people the opportunity to improve their capabilities. It means the leader's always standing back. The leader's always empowering, not delegating. Right? Delegating is the old world. It's, Naroop, here's 2 or 3 things, go do them. When you finish them, come back to me, let me check them and ensure that. That's exhausting for the leader. To me, it's, we need to get to that place X over there. You get us there. If it goes wrong, I'll take ownership. You go make some calls. I'm here when you need me. You've covered everything that they need. Now, the best people say, I've got 2 or 3 things I'd just like a bit of clarification on. But I'm going to give it a go even though I haven't done this before. But knowing that you've got their back, they'll try harder without fear.
How does a leader manage their own mental health in that kind of environment. It's a lot of responsibility to take on, right? You're asking people to go and do stuff, and if anything goes wrong, I'll take responsibility. That's a lot of weight to carry.
Best job in the world, toughest job in the world, loneliest job in the world. But you know what? Nothing is best done alone anymore. This is the job I do for my chief executives. They've got a game face on every day. They've got to bring their A game every day. Every day, the whole business, the whole organisation is dependent on them being at the forefront. No one can do that every day. When that door closes and they slump into the chair, I'm in that room.
What do you see in that room? Because that would be amazing to have a little camera there seeing those conversations.
Someone I care deeply about. That's what I see. Someone I care deeply about. And I'm going to do whatever's necessary to get them back on that horse. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. Sometimes my job is to sign them off, get them out of there. And sometimes, and this is why all the coaching institutions and all the coaching associations, they invite me to come and give a talk to everybody because I'm the coaching antichrist. Everything you shouldn't do, they say I do. But by the time I leave, everyone in their organisation wants to do what I'm doing. Sometimes I'll go and do what they're supposed to do. I'll go and give the talk. I'll go and run the meeting. I'll go and facilitate the session because they're not capable at that moment. And I don't want them exposed to that. I'll do that.
What gives you the confidence to know that you can do that? Because I know I have to, like, I meditate, I do certain things to get myself in the right frame of mind, to make sure for any event, take 5 minutes away to make sure I'm feeling present and in the right mind frame to do it. What gives you the confidence to step up?
The one role in the whole business that there's no training or development plan for is the chief executive. The day they walk into that cockpit, they've never flown the plane before. That's why so many crash and burn within the first 6 months. But I'm sitting in there, and I've flown the plane many times before. And I've prevented crashes. I've been in crashes. There's nothing I haven't seen before. And by the time you get to my vintage, honestly, I've been around the block so many times. And I've been with the good, the bad, and the ugly. I've been with some of the best you could ever be with. So I've got a trick for everything. And that's where the confidence comes from. But it's more than that. If I'm not confident, how the hell are they going to feel? The last thing that they need is to say, I'm having the worst day of my life, and say, I'm not having a good one either. Let me tell you how bad things are from my point of view. No. I got to be on my A game every moment.
That's a lot of pressure.
I am.
So when do you find time for yourself?
Do you know, it's a really good question, but I'd answer it in a different way.
Okay.
When you do a job that you love, you never work a day in your life. This ain't pressure. I've chosen to do the things that I love doing. The trick is, all the things I'm not so good at, I've got a team that absorbs that pressure. I do 10% of the activity. It's on the front end. I'm in the cockpit, but that plane doesn't fly with all my other guys doing, the team doing all the things that they do. I only do the things I'm brilliant at. Spike. So you know what? I don't have off days.
How do men build that kind of confidence without having like titles or saying, okay, I'm a CEO, so I need to be confident, or I'm, head of this? Just someone who's within the organization or in any stage of their life. How do they build that confidence?
By complete chance, I had a career that put me in positions which exposed my strengths. I worked for people who enjoyed my strengths, who capitalized upon my strengths, who exposed my strengths. Everywhere I've gone since then, I'm able to stick to my knitting. I'm only going to trade on my knitting. I'm only going to take jobs that demand my knitting. I'm not going to go where they demand anything else. Sometimes I get these amazing talks to give, paying God knows what. but they want something I know I'm not good at. I just don't take it. So after a while, you build a reputation, build a style, and this is the advice I'd give to everyone else. Find the 2 or 3 things you're outstanding at and try and make that the centerpiece of everything you do. It's not 100%. You'll do other things. It's not, but it's the centerpiece. It's at the heart. That's where your confidence comes. That's where your self-esteem comes from. That's where my wellness comes.
If I came to a job interview with you,
Yep.
and you said to me, Nirup, what are 2 or 3 things that your family says you're really good at? Hypothetical situation. And I said, okay, my family...
No, I think I know them already.
But I'm a different man here. So let's say I said, my kids really love to play with me. I'm great at fixing my car. I've got a lot of attention to detail. And my brother says that I'm a great cook. How would a man then turn those random qualities into something that he can action in a workplace?
So first thing, they're not random, they're brilliant.
Okay.
Within each one of those, the question I'd ask myself, not do I have a job for you? No, it's not a job description. Can I make a role that capitalizes upon those things within my team? That's what I should be thinking.
Okay.
And the answer 9 times out of 10 is yes. I don't think I've ever had anyone join my team who's had prerequisite skills that I need. Ever. Ever. I've never had a square peg for a square hole. Never. Everyone who comes my way, I think, how could they make us better? And there's a bit of massaging, maybe a little bit of coaching, but there's 2 or 3 things they bring that's essential to where I want to take us. Not where we are today, where I want to take us. I'll tell you the story. So, the guy that runs our business today, I met 7 years ago when he was at university, 19 years old. He was and he joined me as an intern. He knew nothing about business. I would honestly say that the things he brought to the party I noticed on his internship, a ravenous hunger. Ravenous. He just wanted to be better, wanted to be the best. He, bright, picked things up very quickly, not afraid to have a go, not afraid to fail. Not the most confident person in the world. Low self-esteem. Brilliant team player. Brilliant, absolutely superb team player. Had everyone's back straight away. What I soon realised, if I gave him a task that he'd never done before, he wasn't afraid to say to me, I think this is how I might do it. And I'd say, why don't you think about this? His response to coaching was the best I've ever seen. 7 years later, he runs the business. Day to day runs it. 26.
Wow. But isn't that based on your vision? That you've got such a clear vision, you can see where people want to slot in. Whereas a lot of men may not meet someone like you who can.
I'd put it differently. I would say you're too generous, number one. I would say it's more about wanting to work. Remember I said to you, it's not fix the people anymore, it's fix the environment.
Yeah.
Create an environment that no matter what your background, no matter how you worship, no matter how you love, no matter how you live, you can bring your authentic self to your place of work. And you will go the extra mile if that environment wants you. Not needs you, wants you. Right. Now, that's how I coach my chief executives. Create an environment to be the world where all the talents can come in. They'll rub along together, but if everyone's giving an extra 10% every day, you're going to win. The biggest driver of performance we've ever seen is an inclusive environment where everyone feels they're part of something special. No matter what your makeup, no matter what you bring, we can find a way of utilising it in a way that to the betterment of the business and the organisation. Is it genius? No. That's how football teams are made. That's how sporting teams have been going on for years. Everyone comes in. There's a reason you're the goalkeeper. There's a reason you're the left back. There's a reason you're... It's fine accommodating all the different talents. The one thing I would say, the entry fee is, come in and give it all you've got.
Do you think everyone is born with ambition to want to be better? Or do you think some people don't want that?
No one's born with anything. Your environment brings it out of you. Circumstance brings it out of you. Sometimes it can take it out of you. But create an environment where people can feel ambitious.
Yeah.
It takes what we've found, and I find this with my chief execs I work with as well. If someone's applying to your company, they want to come and make a difference. So take them seriously. Take them seriously. If someone wants to come and work for you, to spend a third of their life on your premises with you, take them seriously.
Yeah.
Don't look for perfection. Look for desire. Look for people who want to be there. The organisation give them the rest.
Do you think you would have still had your desire to help people if you hadn't had the background and responsibility you were given at a young age? Do you think everything
It's a great
back?
question, no. It's a great question. I think we're all moulded by our circumstance, our experience. And I was lucky enough to work in an environment where, or to grow up in an environment where my parents helped others. Again, the immigrant background, the extended family. Because they left Gambia to come to London, back in Gambia, everyone thinks, well, they must be doing great in London. They must be earning, you'll know this story. And mum and dad had to send things back whether they had it or not. Anyone who visited from Gambia came and stayed with us, even though it was 5 kids, 2-bedroom flat. With 4 in a bed. Aunt is sleeping in the other room. Uncle's mum would cook for the uninvited guest. Somehow they made it work. That never leaves you. That extended family ethos that everyone is welcome. And to my mum, be you Jamaican, Indian, American, you were welcome. That's never left me.
One question I would like to ask you, which is something that I'm actually challenged with today, is building business while being a single father and dealing with, I'll call it a sense of guilt that actually I have to work while, I put you there in front of the TV and send these emails, and not feeling like I'm taken away from the child, but I'm doing this for their future. And I think a lot of men face the same issue, that they want to create a best life for their kids. They're not in a conventional relationship, but yet they feel guilty that they might need me, but how am I going to build my business if I'm with you 24/7?
So look, no, I remember this feeling so well. I remember the feeling of when my son was 4 years old, 5 years old, I couldn't afford the nurseries. We had local childminders, but they started at 8:30. My job started at 9. It was a 20-minute sprint, and I mean sprint. Drop my son off and sprint to work. I'd arrive dripping in sweat. I mean, absolutely caked. And I told no one at the office why I'd sprinted in. I shared with no one that bringing up my son, and my 2 brothers were living with me as well. But the day it all changed and that guilt disappeared was one day I got home and my son was talking to my brothers, and he was 4 or 5, telling them how proud he was of me. Whoa, that's it. The person you got to listen to is your son. Your children. There's no other constituency. There's no other audience. There's no electorate. There's no gallery. It's them. And every now and again, an endorsement from them, a throwaway line, would fuel me for the next 12 months. No guilt. Because they know you're doing the best you can do day in, day out. That's it. However, all the measures that society gives us that tells us who we should be, what we should, forget that. There's only one judge in this, and they're your kids.
Yeah.
And I hear my son now, that he's a father, telling the stories of how we grew up. And is it special? Is it brilliant? I don't know. But it's special to me. And that fuels you. Your return on investment will come. And it'll be better than any rate of return you'll get on any share or any equity in any marketplace, is the validation from your children that you did your best. And the stories they tell that you were there when you needed to be there. And is it 100%? Is it perfect? Is it a tick? It's none of those things. It's here. And I remember when I went to university. My son was born on my end of the first year of university.
Oh, so you're young.
Unplanned accident. Now, in retrospect, I could say probably clear that his mum couldn't cope. She wasn't equipped for that. So when he was 6 months, she left.
Wow.
To me, it was, and it's really, and again, Immigrant, there was only one option. I'm looking after him.
So you had him full time?
Yes.
Wow.
And someone said, well, how did you do that? What do you mean, how did you do that? What else was I meant to do? And in a way, that's it. And something in my conditioning and the way I've been brought up, that's my responsibility. And I think my son and my daughter are exactly the same. Now, it's my responsibility. Who else is going to do it? I didn't notice a chore. I'm not sure sacrifice was a word I would use. I'm not sure hardship. It's my proud responsibility. Not an issue, and yet I had a community. And that community wasn't black, it wasn't white, it wasn't Africa. I mean, it was a bunch of people who helped me, who were there for me when I needed. Some of them were neighbours, some of them were college mates, some of them were lecturers at the college. Just, if you're prepared to share your vulnerability, there'll be people there to support you.
That in itself is a quote to remember. Do you think your children are richer because of that community that they were exposed to?
Yes, definitely. I think my kids were prepared to have conversations with people in a way that kids in the more formal, more traditional family setup probably wouldn't have had. So being able to talk about things that might have been seen to be more difficult.
Here's a bit of a personal question for you. When the mother of your son said, no, can't do this, walked away, how did you deal with that emotion?
It's a really deep and searching question, and it takes me back. I think what happens over life, we all do this for self-preservation. We delete bits from our lives, we just remove them. The day I found out that she'd left him, went down to pick him up, and she wasn't there. He'd been there overnight on his own.
Wow.
He was in a nappy, in a cot. But I was with my two brother-in-laws, my sister's husband, both my sister's husbands. I was calling, getting no response, and so the three of us jumped into one of their cars and drove down there. Because I was with my brother-in-laws, they shared that shock, grief, pain, whatever it was, and they became my co-parents. Because they were there. It's a humbling moment, it's a shocking moment, it's a dreadful moment, But they made me realise it was a moment for me. What you going to do? And their support, wholehearted support, we drove straight to my sister's house. Not back to we went to my sister's house. And somehow, when we walked in, she knew. And everyone I met knew. And it's the sort of support we all need. I didn't have to go and explain uncomfortably. Everybody knew.
What did you feel when you walked in there? Because I know sometimes there is an element of shame for me when I'm in certain environments, when it's just me by myself, because I can't help but reflect and think, could I have done better?
You're offering your care, your heart, your soul, your services, everything about you to someone who is dependent on you. What if you walked away? What if you weren't there? What if you decided it wasn't a priority? What if you decided that you got so many other things that you need to be doing? No, you haven't thought about that for 1 second. What you've done is the right thing, the big thing, the tough thing, the thing that there's no guarantee for, there's no training for, there's no development for. Guilt, kick that out the window. What you should be is proud as punch. What your kids will be, what your friends will be, what your family will be is proud of you beyond belief. Because no one else can do this. Any other option, you don't want to consider that. So you've done the big thing, the right thing, the tough thing. Never forget that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. When you started that journey from that moment on, were you open with your feelings to people? Did you talk to your family and friends openly, or did you find that you kept stuff inward? Because I know a lot of men just find it hard to ask for help. I know you had your community, you had the people.
Do you know, two things. I think the first thing is there was so much to do. I never expected to find myself in that situation. And a switch went from life is great to I better get this sorted. And I think as a way of self-preservation and self-management, I went into task mode. Gonna sort this. First I thought, I need another job. I did 3 jobs.
Wow.
Had to.
What age?
I was at university.
Okay.
So you just did it. And I had 2 brothers living with me. My parents had just gone back to Gambia. And honestly, there is a degree of self-preservation, there is a degree of wellness about it. I threw myself into it. Every now and again, you get those moments where you reflect and lonely. But every time I did that, I'd look at him. What's he going to do if I crumble? What's he going to do? My football mates were astonishing. They weren't philosophers. They weren't psychologists. They weren't psychiatrists. They were friends. And they recognised that I was doing something none of them were exposed to. So they'd pop in. They'd be around. They were just support. And when I look back now, none of it was sophisticated. It didn't have to be. Presence.
Yeah.
Mental, emotional presence. They were just around. And if I couldn't go training, I couldn't go to football, they'd come around.
Do you think we've lost some of that in society now? Because we're so distracted now. We're so self-absorbed in our own selves, social media.
Some of the stuff that young men are open to today, have access to today, telling them the opposite of everything I've said to you.
Yeah.
You know, that's not as helpful.
How do we deal with that? How would you deal with that if that was your mission?
So one of the things that I think is really, really powerful today is having conversations with the men around me of any generation, of any age, that's meaningful, learning how to listen to them, getting them to put real stuff on the table. And we can have that in a pinch 2 minute, we can have that on a 7-hour plane ride. I remember I was saying to you before that what grows us as leaders is not just being the mentee, it's being the mentor. And every time I have a conversation with someone who's on the outset of their parenting exposure, I grow as an individual. So those conversations are critical. We're doing it today.
Do you think you were always destined to be a single dad? Do you think it was part of your...
Definitely not. I come from the richest extended family tradition you can imagine. However, I think the cards we're dealt with are the cards we're dealt with. We shouldn't be afraid of them. There's no hand we can't play. But nothing is best done alone anymore. I hope the consistent message you're getting from me today is, if you're looking for someone to be in your corner, they'll be there. Mm. If you're not prepared to look, you won't see them even though they're there. Mm. Open your eyes, look, there's a ton of people there out to help you. Mm. They may not be called father, brother, uncle, doesn't matter. There's a lot of support out there. There are so many more good people than there are difficult people. And living in a place like London, they're every hue, they're every background, every gender. They're there to help and support if you're prepared to find the courage to ask for that help.
Mm. Within organisations, why is there such an issue around men's mental health? Why are organisations not supporting men enough, do you feel?
I'll take you back to my previous response. We've grown our men to be courageous and our women to be perfect. Those perfect women are prepared to have conversations that us courageous men aren't prepared to have. We think it's brave to tough it out. Mm. Organisations have fallen into the same. But you know what? Nearly everywhere I go now, I'm feeling those conversations. Mm. They're happening. Not at the rate I would like, not with the numbers I would like, but they're happening. And there's no going back. This won't go backwards.
And I agree. It needs to happen more. Why is a man-on-man conversation like this so much more powerful than being given a telephone number? Like so many organizations do. Call this number. Okay, you're feeling a bit depressed. There you go. Why is there a need for human connection?
So when I'm coaching my chief executives, the first and initial conversation has to be in person. Has to be. There is no other way to establish trust. Hmm. It comes with the body language, it comes with the chemistry, it comes with how we come over, and it's done silently. Mm. Within the first 30 seconds, we know where this is going to work. Yeah. You know that. Yeah. I can follow up with many online Zoom teams, but after 4 or 5, we need to meet again. Yeah. Refresh. Mm. Re-intertwine ourselves, get ourselves with... Nothing beats this personal interaction. Yeah. It's not because we're talking. It's because we're sharing. And we're sharing many different things here. From body language, eye contact, lots of different things come in that experience. It doesn't need to be long, but it's vital. You'll see it most with your children. Sometimes they just need to walk into the room for a few minutes to know that you're there. Yeah. And they go and sleep comfortably. Yeah. We're exactly the same.
Do you find the CEOs that you coach lean on you in that same way to be the person who can help with their challenges, maybe not only at work, but at home as well? Do you find that something that they need? Because there is a massive sense of loneliness.
Yes, but it's two-way. I'm as vulnerable as they are. Otherwise they won't be. They're giving me stuff while I'm giving them stuff. It's a two-way street. And this is why I think traditional coaching needs to be looked at.
Yeah.
It's an exchange. When I'm in that moment with them, and it's in the moment, it's got a sense of urgency. It's real. You can't fake it. It's live and direct. There's no rehearsal. That button's been pressed and they're there and we're exchanging in the immediacy of the moment. There's no choreographing. It's there. It's vomited out sometimes. And you've got to deal with it. Some people mistakenly think it's a bunch of advice. You go, this is the coaching man. It's nonsense. When I walk, I don't know what state of undress they're going to be in, or I'm going to be in, because of what I've heard. And sometimes, we can both end up in tears in minutes because it's so heartrending.
Wow.
I had a call 3 o'clock on a Sunday morning, and I'm mad enough to take the phone at 3 o'clock on a Sunday morning. René, he's just not listening. I've tried everything. I don't know what else I can do, but and it was a 40-minute rant. I didn't say a word. And then he said, "Thank you, that's really useful. That's just what I needed to hear." I hadn't said a word. I said, "That's great." Put the phone down off him. 6 o'clock that Sunday afternoon, his wife rang me. And she said, I reminded him, you haven't worked with him for 6 years.
Wow.
You haven't spoken for 5. He feels great at the moment, but I just wanted to apologise because I tried to stop him from calling you, but nothing was going to. It's not an assignment. It's an interdependent relationship. And that's what I'm advising all men to have. You've got to have someone you can make that 3 o'clock call in the morning to. I didn't say a word, but he felt great. Yeah. That's what it's like. When you've got someone in your corner, you can make that phone call, they're going to give you a damn good listening to, and you're going to feel better and you can sleep the night through. Because you know they're there. And what's their job title? I don't know. Let's just call it mate.
Yeah. I think that must be beautiful for you to experience, knowing that you've had such a profound impact. A lot of men just don't have that person. And
have not yet found that person.
Have not yet
they
found.
have that person.
Yeah.
They do. Yeah. We all do. You can call me at 3.
I will.
You can. But that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I can call you at 3.
Yeah.
Because of the relationship we've had. And you won't be offended if I called you at 3. But in fact, you'd feel really good that I called you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. We all do.
Yeah.
But it's not, if you call someone at 3 o'clock, they're going to think, you think a heck of a lot of me. I'm going to take this seriously. That's what happens. But we've been brought up, educated in a world that to be courageous, we don't need to do it. That's a sign of weakness. No, it's a sign of strength. And no matter who you choose to call, I assure you, they'll take it seriously. Yeah. Because you're not going to choose at random. You can choose someone that, I've known you a long time. If I called you at 3 o'clock in the morning, not only would you take the call, you'd care about me. You'd be there for me. You'd vouch for me. You'd give up time for me. And you'd check back in again later that I was okay. I know that, Naroop.
So much of what you're telling me now, I can see stemmed from your role as a single dad and having that community and being there for them and then being there for you. And now you've taken that into the corporate world, into the leadership world, and use those same, because this is a total different approach from what we would be told by people. Being vulnerable, you just said, is a massive strength. We're never told that. Now we are, through you. These are things that I think, but someone like you, it takes someone like you to share that message, right?
Look, after my son was 6 or 7, I met the woman who's going to be my wife, and we had our daughter. We lost her So I'm single dad again.
Oh. That must be difficult.
Oh,
It's hard. Have you processed all that, do you find?
again, friends, mates.
And how do you come to peace with that? Or do you not?
You do, mates, friends. She had cancer. So unlike before, we were prepared this time. You can prepare. And I found I was a veteran, been there before. This time I had a bunch of friends, bunch of support. It's not easy, as you can see.
No, I feel for you. But these challenges only make us stronger, correct? Is that the right way to look at it? That these challenges forge us to prepare us for greater responsibilities?
I think they made me more vulnerable, which was a better thing. I was able to, second time around, first time around, I just task managed it. Ran faster, jumped higher, worked harder. Second was crushing. Because she'd filled all the gaps. All the running around I was doing, all the things I wasn't so good at, she was fantastic at. And my son had a mum, my daughter. The second time round was horrible. Because we'd built something that was efficient, worked well, great team, lent on each other. But I was equipped. I knew I could do it. I didn't want to do it. I needed to do it. But again, my son, this time my closest confidant was my son. He's 10 years older than my daughter. And he was just astonishing. He was the brick. He was the wall. And she was 13 when we lost Mum. That's a tough old age. It's a really tough age. And but he played such a part. And I realized then that all my friends gathered round us. Maybe not physically, but emotionally. And it was like music. I could hear it all the time. Didn't have to see it, didn't have to be in the room, I could hear it all the time. I just knew there was support. And the toughest days became good days. Because she never wanted, she never suffered. My daughter never noticed that there was anything that was missing. And what happens with single parents, I believe, is that bond becomes unbreakable. And the bond between my son and my daughter is just, and me, it's so strong. So strong. Still go on holidays with them. But now we don't go as a threesome, we go separately. She wants to go somewhere else, he wants to go somewhere. But that's great.
Do you talk to them about that time still?
Yes. Yes. Mum's birthday, the anniversary of her passing, Christmas, the times where we have those conversations just happen naturally. And they used to be really difficult and tough. They're not now. They're positive remembrance of the great times. And that's where it shifts. What I've found has happened, though, and I've taken on a different responsibility for those of my friends, my colleagues who have loss. Whatever the loss is, I've become the past master of loss and know what it's like to recover.
Yeah. Know
what the dark days are like, and a good listener.
Yeah, I can relate to so much, because when I see someone struggle, a man struggle, I can't help but want to help, because I just think the same thing. I've been there, and part of the reason why I created this organization is to do that. It's very beautiful, actually, very touching for me to hear these stories from you, because I never knew so much.
So I've got this neighbour. She's every neighbourhood has them. She's the most irritating neighbour you could ever have, but we all love her. She's now well into her 80s, and she complains about everything. But we look out for her. She leaves I've got her key. So if ever we don't see her, me or my daughter will wander in to see if she's okay. And so, anyway, the other day I got to the gate, and she came out, she starts moaning about the postman. She says, since the postman's changed, have you noticed how he used to? He changed about 8 years ago. Right? And he's great. She said, he's useless. He's always late. He never comes. Postman used to be written up. Up walks the postman. I said, well, here he is now. And I said, Michelle says you're always late. I know him really well. And he smiled. He said, well, it's because I stop off at number 8. Well, why do you do that? She accuses him. And he says, well, it's Michael. His eyesight's fading. So I stop off and I read his mail for him. And that's why I'm always a little bit late coming here. I looked at her and she looked at me. We didn't say anything else. There's always someone somewhere who'll give you their time if you're prepared to ask for it. And our postman doesn't have to do that. He's not going to get paid any more for doing it. He does it every day. There are so many good people around that if we're prepared to, or someone had to say that he couldn't read his letters as well as he could. And he got instant help. Oh. So I'm on this never-ending campaign with my leaders, with my colleagues, with my friends. No matter how dark it looks, no matter how desperate it feels, there's light to be had. But you've got to open the window. You've got to draw the curtain back. And it will come from all the areas you've never thought of. On my wife's birthday, my wife's birthday's May the 2nd, my daughter's May the 1st. So you can imagine May, the beginning of May in our house. We celebrate my daughter's birthday, and it's going to be the second days. Even now, it's a lump in the throat moment. We look out for each other. We just look out for each other. And on that second day, drive to the cemetery. She wants to go on her own. I sit in the car, stand outside the car. She goes down. She comes back, then I go. We come back, we drive back together. And we don't say a lot in the car, but we're there for each other. And that's happened every year since, and we're there for each other.
As we come to the end of this conversation, what's one thing that we haven't spoken about that we should have discussed?
So, this morning I got up, and I was coming to do this, and there was a report on the malevolent turn that has taken to some of the advice given to young men. And there was an avalanche of stats behind it. And one of the stats that surprised me was today in society, 50% of children are in fatherless homes and don't have access to a male role model. 50%. And I came here with a major message for you that if I look back to the dark days when I was growing up, when I was bringing up kids, things have got better. But that stat made me pause. And a couple of things came to mind. Number one, we're much better at that sort of research now. I'm not sure this is new news. We're much better at that sort of research now. But it was a clarion call. That for every single one of us, men, no matter what size, what shape, no matter what faith, no matter what background, we've got the most pleasing responsibility in the world. And that is, look out for those who are coming after us. The power of a close proximity role model. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be there. What more can we do, all of us, for those who are finding their path? My friends I told you about, my 3 friends, we found handwritten note, bunch of flowers. I can't tell you what that did for my confidence, the power of recognition. Told you about my postman, who just takes his time to read some letters. My daughter and my son, they know I have a dark day on May the 2nd every year, and they're there for me. So I wanted to leave all your listeners with a message. And it's a really simple one, but it's a powerful one. Look out for each other, look after each other. That's all. Mm-hmm. If we wake up every day, in our heads, in our minds, in our hearts, look out for each other, look after each other, I think we could change this world ever so quickly.
I agree. How would you like to be remembered as a man?
Do you know, it's a really great and deep question. I think first and foremost, decent father. If I have that, the rest is easy. He's a decent father.
Well, a man who's achieved so much, and for that to be your number one thing, I respect you, because same goes for me. This has been one of my favourite conversations, René, because truth be told, you're one of my favourite people because you're true inspiration. And I look forward to deepening our friendship as I embark on this journey to create the change that we both agreed is so necessary.
And you know what's great about you, Nurem? Thank you so much for that. You have no idea the impact you have on others. Because from the moment I met you, you always stood a couple of yards behind everyone else. Was it deference? No. No, it wasn't deference. What it was ensuring that everyone else was okay. I remember that little studio in Acton, the little kitchenette in the corner. Amit's mum, ensuring that all of us were well fed, well looked after, but you stood behind her and you watched everything that happened, never said a word. No matter who I brought into the studio, you watched, everything was prepared, everything was solid, everything was right. You hardly said anything. But I knew as long as you were there, things were going to go well. So now when I see you stepping out a little bit more, first thing that comes to my mind is, it's about time. Second, you're still careful with your steps. You're never going to be any different. But they're great steps. You must continue.
And I will. Thank you, René. It's been a pleasure.
Good man.
Thank you.
Thank you.